welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to talk to you about the things I'd wish I had known about my first trimester of pregnancy. Because looking back now, there are definitely some things that I wish someone would have told me, or I wish I just would have known somehow, I guess, about my first trimester that I didn't, that now looking back I think would have been helpful, or at least just like fun to hear, a little bit enlightening, I don't know. So if you want to hear some of the things that I wish I had known that could be potentially helpful to you if you yourself are considering getting pregnant or in your first trimester, then just keep watching. So the first thing I wish people would have told me is that the first trimester goes by really quickly, and it's not for the reasons that you think. So a lot of the times people will say to you, oh, enjoy pregnancy, it goes by so fast, right? And fine, like I get that because it's going by quite quickly. However, the first trimester goes by really fast, and it's not because you're enjoying every moment. And I mean, yes, that comes into play, but I found it went by really quickly because by the time that you find out you're pregnant, you're already considered by doctors to be like 4 to 6 weeks pregnant. So they will count, first day of your last period that's the first day of the first week of your pregnancy. Even though you probably haven't conceived and your fertilized egg probably hasn't implanted into your womb until like a week later. And so by the time I found out I was pregnant and got a positive pregnancy test, I was technically 4 weeks pregnant, and that's quite early. A lot of people don't find out until they've either missed their period or a week or two after that. And so in that case, because the first trimester is 12-ish weeks long, 12 to 13 weeks long, by the time you find out that you're pregnant, you're kind of already toward the middle of the first trimester. And the first trimester too, like when you find out that you're pregnant, it's so exciting, and you just like are so overwhelmed with then making doctor's appointments and telling family and friends that those then extra weeks after that go by so quickly and so fast. And so I remember, thinking like, wow, I wish someone would have told me that the first trimester goes by really fast, not because you're enjoying every single second of it, but because by the time you find out you're pregnant, you're already 4 to 5 weeks pregnant in doctor world and in how they're going to then measure the rest of your pregnancy. So the next thing I wish they would have told me about the first trimester of pregnancy is that there is such thing as night sickness. So a lot of times you'll hear morning sickness. Are you suffering from morning sickness? Did you have morning sickness? But seldom do people ever really talk about night sickness or feeling sick all day long. I didn't really experience morning sickness, lucky enough, and I think I had it really easy in that regard, but I did experience nausea during the evening time around 5:30, 6 o'clock. So around dinner time was when I would personally start feeling pretty nauseous and pretty sick and have to like eat something small and then go right to bed. And I think when it comes down to like which one I would rather have, sounds crazy, but like which one I would rather have, I would have chosen the one that I had, the night nausea, just because you can have a little something to eat and then go right to sleep, and then I would wake up in the morning and feel fine, versus morning sickness where you're feeling sick like right off the bat in the morning, and then for some women they have to throw up to then feel better for the day. And so clearly like that does not sound like a very fun option, and I again feel so lucky to have had the night nausea. But I didn't know that night nausea was a thing. And so when I started experiencing it, I was like, this is weird. Like, no one ever told me that I could potentially get sick or like have morning sickness, but in the nighttime. And so here to tell you that that is a possibility, that you might not suffer from morning sickness, but you might suffer from night sickness. The next thing I wish I'd known about the first trimester is kind of a silly one, maybe even a little bit embarrassing, but I wish I had known that there weren't really going to be any major changes to my belly, like my stomach area, because I remember like every day wishing and hoping to see some sort of little bump, and baby is so tiny during the first trimester that you're more than likely not going to see any sort of like baby bump or baby anything. And it's not really until you get toward like your 20th week of pregnancy that your belly starts to show and that you start popping. But I wish I would have known, I guess a little more explicitly, that that wasn't going to be a thing, because I remember waking up every day just like hoping to see a little bit of a baby bump and like wishing that I had a little baby bump, because I felt so pregnant, and I felt, you know, when you feel sick and when you feel emotional or hormonal, like you just wish you sort of had something to show for it so people understood, but you don't. Unfortunately, there's nothing there to show. Last thing I wish I'd known about my first trimester, I guess it's a bit of a subjective one and just sort of depends on your circumstance, but I thought for sure that when I called my doctor and said that I'm pregnant, just took the test, I'm 4 or 5 weeks pregnant, I thought they were going to say, okay, come in, we're going to do the blood test, we're going to do, you know, an ultrasound, confirm your pregnancy, but they said, no, we actually have to wait until you're 8 to 10 weeks pregnant. And that for me was really interesting, and no one had ever mentioned that, right? Because in all the movies, you see like, okay, a woman gets pregnant, she goes to the doctor. You hear, a friend gets pregnant, she goes to the doctor. And so I was taken aback a little bit by that, because I thought like, well, what am I supposed to do from, you know, week 5 to week 9? Like, what am I supposed to do during that month? Like, just be pregnant, and like, how do I know everything's okay? But I think they do that because they want to make sure that, one, you're actually pregnant, that you don't just get your period. And then because the baby like is so small, like right at implantation, right when it's 4, 5, 6 weeks in development, they can't really quite tell if everything's going well besides the obvious symptoms. And so I believe that that's why they wait until 8 to 10 weeks. I could be totally wrong. But yeah, I was really taken aback by that. I thought for sure that like when I called my doctor at 5 weeks, which now sounds ridiculous, but when I called it, they would give me a time like right away. But they had said, you know, like, we're going to wait until you're 8 weeks, and you can come in then, and then we'll do the verification that you're actually pregnant, and we'll do the ultrasound to just, again, verify the pregnancy. But yeah, that's just a little word to the wise that if you find out that you're pregnant quite early, just be aware that the doctor might not need to see you or might not want to see you until you're at least like 2.5 months pregnant. And those are all the things I wish I'd known about my first trimester. I hope you found some of these things helpful. Definitely let me know in the comments down below if you yourself are in your first trimester, or if you've been pregnant and there are any things that you would like to share that you wish you would have known during your first trimester. Don't forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and I will talk to you all really soon. Bye guys!